to start talking?
All right. Well, in just a few short moments, Rich Schwab Field is about to get a whole lot of action for the CCC coverage and matchup of the Bushnell Beacons versus the Eastern Oregon Mountaineers. The Mountaineers having an interesting time having to travel to the greater Eugene Springfield areas where Rich Schwab Field is located for this matchup. There's only 2 more left for them right before the end of the season and the turnaround, and the number 2 team in the CCC is the Eastern Oregon Mountaineers. So for Bushnell, there is a lot of work for them to try to chip and come back after having an 11-25 record just before having to go on the road against Warner Pack to close out their CCC series there in Portland. I didn't realize Warner Pack was in Portland, and that's okay. They play 3 games there.
Yeah,
go ahead.
and
Yeah.
Portland's not that far of a road trip here. A lot of the NII schools play close to each other, and sometimes that proximity is good because it allows the athletes to be able to focus on their schooling instead, which is, of course, the most important part of being a student athlete here, CJ.
Yeah, well, you can't have athlete without student, and here in Bushnell, there's a bunch of student athletes getting ready for this 3 p.m. first pitch on its way, just a few short moments away, 48 minutes to be exact, here at the Pacific Local Standard Time, and it's a little chilly out, but the sun is still beaming down here in Rich Schwab. A little bit of a good breeze, shouldn't see anything. Well, it's beautiful here. It's a beautiful day. Sun is shining. It's all out, and it's a battle waiting to happen in Rich Schwab Field here in the greater Eugene, Springfield area, where at home it's the Bushnell Beacons going against the number 2 team in the CCC, number 13 team in NAIA, in the Eastern Oregon Mountaineers. And this matchup means a lot for the Mountaineers, trying to play for that number 1 spot in the CCC conference, just 1.5 games behind Southern Oregon in a series that they had split. So this matters, coming in trying to sweep and hopefully having Southern Oregon drop some games while they're on the road. And for Bushnell, they're coming off of a big win, a big couple of series wins actually, from Corbin and University of Providence, where they took 2 games at University of Providence, fell the last CCC matchup. And it's Corbin, where they had a full-on CCC sweep, and it was big. And even though they dropped the last game of the year against Corbin, it was still huge to get that and jump to 7th in the CCC rankings, where they were predicted earlier on in the season. My name is CJ Flores. Alongside me today is Owen Brock, who is my color man. Owen, it's a beautiful day here in Bushnell. I couldn't imagine any other way, with a little bit of slight wind picking up here just before the 3 p.m. first pitch. What are some thoughts and feelings that you have about Bushnell trying to come in and get this win, sitting at 11-25 and 6-15 in the conference?
Yeah, CJ, I think you said it perfectly a little bit in that open. Bushnell coming off a little bit of a hot streak right here, picking up some big wins against Corbin. My key to the game for them is to stay hot, to continue batting with confidence and having trust in their fielders. Pitchers need to make sure to put balls over the plate. Got to stay off the walks here. Trust the Beacons defense in the outfield as well as the infield. Allow the Beacons to get in and out of innings and then get those bats on balls. Get a lot of players onto the base path and see what they can do.
Well, absolutely, Owen, and the person to do that for Bushnell is the person in the circle who's been on fire all year. The 6-7 record does not reflect how well Sarah Martin has been pitching, with a 2.3 ERA, 55 strikeouts, over 104 hits, 64 runs, and only 30 earned runs in her time with the Beacons this year. And on the other side, it is a rubber match. Kylie Parsons coming in with a 10-0 record, 65 strikeouts to her name, 57 hits and 23 runs with only 17 earned runs. As I go through the lineup for the visiting team in Eastern Oregon, it's going to be Reagan Clipper, followed by Kaylin Evans, Madeline Durham, and batting cleanup is Hannah Tyree, followed by Emily Berry and Madison Olson. And then the 7, 8, and 9 is going to be Kelly Monaghan, Hope Burke, and Haley Tyree rounding it out. And for the Bushnell Beacons on the other side, it's going to be Taylor Kenworthy starting up, followed by Shyla Mead, Riley Peeler, Violet Richardson, as always, batting cleanup, and such power for this Beacons lineup. Ashlyn Martin playing in the 5 spot today. Sarah Martin, the pitcher, batting number 6, and Brenna Wilson, the left fielder who has been electric all year and a magnet with the glove. Number 8, this time around in the lineup is Gracie Hamilton behind the dish. And right field coming in at number 9, also position number 9, is Marina Castaneda, who will have a good challenge for herself out in right field. And then in center field, it's going to be Brooklyn Rondo continuing her streak out in center field. We're going to take a step away for a quick break just before first pitch, and we'll be right back for the national anthem. Do not turn the dial here on the Bushnell Streaming Network.
Please rise if you are able and join us for an opening prayer, followed by the playing of our national anthem. Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for just a absolutely beautiful day, for a chance to come out here and worship you through sport. We ask, Lord, for an injury-free afternoon. We pray that all we do is done to your glory, and it's in your name that we play. Amen.
And now, just a few short moments away from first pitch. I'm CJ Flores. Alongside me is Owen Brock. And just before we get this going, as Sarah Martin warms herself up in the middle of the circle, let's talk about Sarah Martin for real quick. A shutout in Game 3 against Corbin. And that was the series where Axel Martin also went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And they're going to have to look for some of that shutout magic today with Sarah Martin starting the circle, wearing the beautiful Pit Vipers. And you know that if she's shutting out the rest of the world, then she is going to be locked in here into the middle of the circle. Owen, give me some of your thoughts.
Yeah, I think you said it best earlier, CJ. She's better than her record shows. 7-6 on the season, but really, if she can dial in on the mount or in the middle of the circle today, she's going to be able to pitch a great game. And if the Beacons can support her with the bats, there's a very good chance that Martin can come away with the W today against a very, very good team. That's how good she is.
Absolutely. When you look at what Sarah Martin has been able to accomplish, Sarah Martin over 103 innings pitched, has 104 hits and 61 runs, but 55 strikeouts. And that's no number to scoff at. And as we get ready, it's going to be the leadoff batter in Reagan Clippert here in the top of the first for the Mountaineers. So Gracie Hamilton finding her way behind the dish. Let's go through the infield. It's going to be Riley Peeler at first, followed by Shyla Mead at second. Kenworthy sitting at that shortstop spot, and Ashla Martin rounding out third base. Sarah Martin throwing that first pitch just on the outer edge is called for ball 1. And then following to the outfield, it's going to be Brenna Wilson playing left, Brooklyn Rondeau in center, and Marina Castaneda rounding out in right. So Martin winds and fires. Bunt laid down off the third baseline and somehow finds a way to stay on the right side, and it's fair. So Reagan Clippert starting this one off early with a slow bunt that finds a little bit of luck to stay fair.
CJ, that might have been one of the best bunts that I've ever seen in person. Sits down perfectly on that third base line. Catcher calls everybody off, trying to let that ball go foul, but it just stops perfectly right near where the chalk would be.
Yeah, just a perfect amount of power for Clippert off of that bunt. And now following is Caitlin Evans here, batting number 2, and Clippert will take the steal. Hamilton having to pop up out, but couldn't get the throw in time. So there's going to be an argument, so to say, and a little bit of confusion whether or not that ball had come off the bat of Evans or come out of the glove of Hamilton. And from our perspective, it surely seemed as if the ball had come out of Hamilton's glove after the play had already ended, because there was some confusion with Clippert running from first to second.
Absolutely. It looks a little bit confusing here, but wow.
And they're going to rule the way that Clippert All right, and what we just got from the ump, it came out of Gracie Hamilton's glove, but because the ball went into the play, the steal will remain, but Evans has to come back here inside that left-handed batter's box to face Sarah Martin, as she has strike 1 already under her belt. Another bunt shown. This one popped up. Hamilton making the play. And that's going to retire Evans. Excuse me.
It's going to be her second strike there.
Your second one.
Eastern Oregon's coming out, trying to be aggressive on these base paths here. Both batters have tried to lay down bunts so far.
Yeah, and Martin making quick work of the 0-2. Here's the payoff, but it won't catch the outer edge, and that's going to make for ball 1.
I love that pitch out of Martin there, though. Trying to paint the outside corner through a quick fastball, trying to get Oregon to reach on a pitch that maybe is not perfect.
So this one batted directly back to Martin as she makes the routine play to Peeler at first. But Reagan Clippert, the lead runner, will stay on third. So with one out here in the top of the first with a runner on third, they had Peeler and Ashlyn Martin playing shallow, and they had a little bit of a crash situation, but nothing succumbed to it. So Madeline Durham, the right-handed batter, coming in third here to face Sarah Martin with a clean count. This one coming all the way through the heart of the strike zone, called for strike 1. And Martin, such poise inside the middle circle.
Martin's got to make sure to be careful here. She's got a runner on third, cannot allow anything to go outside of the infield.
And it's hard against somebody in Madeline Durham who's 5'3". She's a senior from Eagle, Idaho, first team all-conference in 2024. She bats .405 on the year, has 27 runs and 34 hits so far, and slugs .500. It's not an easy challenger batting in the third as Sarah Martin fires this one across the plate, but just low at the knees for ball 2.
Yeah, CJ, you mentioned it. Whenever you play the number 2 team in the conference, it doesn't matter who you're going against. It's going to be a quality batter. Martin's got to make sure to give us her best today.
And Martin already shaken off pitch number 5 as she slings it just off the side of the plate. So now a count of 3-1 in a situation where we thought Sarah Martin had the stronghold. She finds herself dug into a hole.
Got to be a strike here. I'm looking for maybe a rise ball top right corner.
The riser definitely coming in, trying to tie. Runner coming out. Gracie Hamilton trying to get the tag, and she will. And how about that? Clipper had a short lead off of third, wasn't realizing that the pitch had come out, and Hamilton, excellent play, throws down to Martin. Martin trying to catch in the pickle, throws back to Hamilton. And finally, out number 2 in a chaotic circumstance.
Nothing better than a pickle on a warm day in the spring. Softball is here.
So a full count swing, and that will retire Madeline Durham as she went all the way through. And Hamilton has the throwdown. So an excellent first inning for the Bushnell Beacons, and Sarah Martin as she goes 1, 2, 3 due up is going to be Taylor Kenworthy, followed by Shiloh Mead and Riley Peeler right when we return on the Bushnell Streaming Network. All right, and we find ourselves here in the bottom of the first, where for the Bushnell Beacons, Taylor Kenworthy, who was let off a couple of times in this at-home series, has done a good job so far. Taylor Kenworthy batting a solid .244 as the leadoff. Has 12 runs so far and 22 hits through the season with 11 RBIs. Slugs .278.
Taylor Kenworthy.
And an OPS of .577. And the senior needing to find a way to get this one started early for the team.
It's all about contact here, CJ. She's got to be able to get the ball on the bat, get on the base path, give her team a good opening at bat.
Well, she's going to have a hard time facing Kylie Parsons, who finds her first pitch in the zone for strike 1. Again, Parsons, who's 10-0 on the season, has 65 strikeouts and is the number 2 option here for this Eastern Oregon defense inside the middle circle. Parsons' second pitch shows bunt, comes back, and that one's going to be called just on the top of zone for ball 1.
She's throwing these balls with extreme velocity, very high, trying to ward off any bunt attempts by the Beacons.
Parson checks as she fires this one. That one just off the inside of the plate. So a nice call for 2-1 against Taylor Kenworthy now. And the inside defense for the Eastern Oregon, it's going to be Parsons inside the circle, followed by Hannah Tyree just behind the dish. Having Barry play third, Durham at second, Clipper at shortstop. And that pitch coming across the strike zone for number 2. So now a tied situation for Taylor Kenworthy. And then rounding out third is going to be Madison Olson, followed by Monaghan in left field, Haley Tyree, the sister of Hannah, in center, and Evans in right. This ball trying to find the zone at the bottom, but will not catch near the knees. And now a full scenario for Taylor Kenworthy, whose eye has battled herself back inside of this line.
Kenworthy doing a great job of warding off that off-speed pitch there, just waiting for it to drop outside of the zone.
So the payoff pitch by Parsons, this one lined just into the glove of Durham.
doing a great job getting the ball on the bat. Sometimes it's just hard to catch up to that speed after you see two straight off-speed pitches, unable to be early on that. Kind of hit a slow little dinker to second base right there.
And entering the box is going to be Riley Peeler on that left side. Excuse me, in the right-handed batter's box. Takes that first pitch just on the corner edge for strike one. And Shyla Mead, who's had a little bit of an up and down year, but really found, Riley Peeler, who's really found her way into this lineup. This one finds a way to fall just shallow right as she runs all the way through and is safe at first. So Shyla Mead making the bat work early and finds the first hit for Bushnell.
Now batting number 19.
Great job there of
Peeler.
dropping her level, drops her shoulders, brings bat to ball, able to drop that right into the gap in between second and right field.
And now coming up to bat is going to be Riley Peeler, number 19, an OPS of 829 and an average of 301 with the runner on the bag in Mead. Shows bunt, pulls back, but it is going to be called for strike one. And Mead putting herself in a position to try to get Mead to advance. So Peeler working from the left-handed batter's box as this pitch comes through. Just off the side of the plate, makes for ball one, and the count is tied.
Beacons got to get out early here, able to get a shutout first inning. I think it's very, very important for them, especially playing a great team like Eastern Oregon, to jump out to an early lead. I think that's got to be their key to success today.
So this pitch swung all the way through by Peeler, and the throwdown at first to try to get Mead is not in time. So still one out remains here in the bottom of the first with a runner on first of Mead.
We're seeing some very aggressive base path tactics from both teams today. The catchers looking to get some of these runners out.
Parsons delivers this just off the side of the plate again, and now tied like a couple of laces. It's 2-2.
Parsons doing a great job of changing up her pitch types. A lot of off-speed pitches introduced with her fastballs.
So Peeler sets in the box. This one coming through, having a twist, and she'll take her walk. So the count was full. The scoreboard not reflecting it, but that's all right. And Peeler makes her way down to first. And coming in is Violet Richardson. Violet Richardson so far on the year, 8 home runs, bats .333, an OPS of over 1,000. Has hit 2 home runs so far, at least from when I've called these games with Violet Richardson. And boy, what a show it has been for her, being able to lift it deep out of left.
If there's one person you want coming up to bat for the Beacon so far, it's been Violet. She's been hot, like you said, a lot of power behind her bat.
And Mead and Peeler are on first, and Violet Richardson will take that one just on the inside part of the plate for strike one.
With the speed at second that you have with Mead, anything to right field has a chance of scoring.
So Parsons with the 0-1 fires this one, the off speed catches the zone. And that's going to make for strike two.
That's a circle change there from Parsons. Absolutely disgusting. Got Violet thinking about swinging there. She decides to hold back. It just drops right into the zone.
Parson rubs the ball, winds and deals for the 0-2. All the way through, Violet will go on another off speed, and Parsons has her first strikeout of the day.
And CJ, we were hyping up this matchup between Violet and Parsons right there. Right there, Parsons got the best of her. 1, 2, 3, really had her way on the dish. Just painted all of the corners with speed and finesse.
Well, here in the right-handed batter's box, it's freshman Ashlyn Martin as she takes strike one, going all the way around. Remember, Shyla Mead and Riley Peeler are on first and second, so Ashlyn Martin in a position with 2 outs to try to throw some runners inside of scoring position. And Martin has had a little bit of a tough time trying to find her way through the bat, but has come so well through as she swings all the way through for strike two. But she's had to work for it, and the dedication and work ethic has definitely shown. The average going up, the OPS going up. She has 23 hits on the year so far. And Parsons delivers the 0-2. This check swing might go all the way through, and they say she will. And back-to-back strikeouts now for Parsons as we end the bottom of the first. And when we return here on the top of the second, due up is going to be Hannah Tyree, followed by Emily Berry and Madison Olson when we return live on the Bushnell Streaming Network.